So what were the sorts of things? What did you see that if I, as an American, or as a Jewish American, or just as an American, that would shock or startle me if I were reading this in English? What sorts of things?
You feel insulted. You feel in danger if you read it. But if you are American and the Muslim scholars and understand the mentality of these people, you feel how dangerous this kind of writing. You know, because it urges the ordinary Muslim to be terrorist. And this, it is, you know, in your culture, it is easy to attack someone. And he may attack you by words. But in field of the culture of Osama bin Laden, when he attacks someone using Islam, accusing him to be the enemy of Islam, that means asking anyone to kill him.
So the sorts of things that might be articulated, is it the kind of things where we hear that Jews are dogs, or Christians are filthy, or that they are?
Yes, that's kind of discourse. That's kinds of talking.
Say that for me. The kinds of things that.
Yes, that insulted them and described them as the enemies of Islam. And this is the common, you know, this is the common description. You can find it in any fanatic mosque in Egypt or Saudi Arabia, or this is the kind of, and that's why I was so scared, because I escaped this kind of writing in Egypt, and I find it here in Boston. That's why I was so scared at that time, and I escaped it.
and you also say, you can listen up again. You also say that there were sermons going on there, or speakers there that were also articulating this kind of thing. So tell me.
Yes. I remember that sheikh in the lower downstairs is reading from Al-Bukhari, which is a sacred book for them, and talking about the Christian and the same way, and explain many things to them. And I was so scared to hear that. And it is all, all what I said, all what I listened or what I saw is define this mosque as a fanatic mosque. And that's why I skipped it and never went again. Then after that, after I finished my 1 year fellowship and returned back to Virginia, I was called by Charles.
Let's not get there yet, because there's one more piece of this I need to refrain from. The sorts of things, I need you to say something like, the sorts of things I heard being said were calling Christians and Jews, or Americans, whatever's true, the enemies of Islam.
Yes.
Okay, I need you to say that for me.
Yes, the sort of things that I saw in their newsletter, attacking America as the enemies of Islam, attack Christian and the Jews as the enemy of Islam, in the big titles, in Arabic big titles. I did not need to read things. It is very obvious there, very clear, and it is the titles, the big titles in red lines, and this is newsletters. That is, and according to my experience, what is said in Arabic is more than what is written.
So what do you think, you can listen up again, when these kinds of sermons, speeches, lectures are being given in prayer ceremonies at a mosque here in liberal Cambridge, what do you think the danger is? What's dangerous in your mind about these kinds of ideas being promulgated at these mosques?
As I said before, it is a war of ideas which is different from the military war. The war of ideas had its own weapons, its own battlefield in the mind of the people. That's why you find young men is they convince him to blow up himself. They brainwash him to blow up himself, to think about death, not about his future as a young man. This is the battlefield of war of ideas. The weapons are different. You find websites, you find schools, you find universities, you find drama, TV, everything. But the most dangerous weapon in war of ideas is the mosque.
Why?
Because people, this is in our culture as Muslims. There are a weekly sermon, Friday weekly sermons. People go to pray and to listen to the preacher who gives them al-khutbah or the sermon. And as a Muslim, we have to listen to it and we have to believe what he's saying. Then after this is a lesson after the prayer. Then you may find another lessons during the week, the weekdays. So people, when they go to the mosque, especially in the Friday prayers, weekly prayers, they are prepared to obey what they listen. And this is the dangerous point here. And if you use this to undeceive the people, you make a big reform. If you use this to make them terrorists, you can do it. That's why the fanatic Sunni Wahhabi in Egypt control most of the mosques in Egypt, and they are doing the best in brainwashing the Egyptians there.
I'm going to express a little skepticism. I have trouble believing, so tell me where the real lines are. I would be skeptical to think that someone giving a sermon at a mosque in Roxbury or in Cambridge are going to turn Americans into terrorists. Am I naive, or is the danger more insidious than
No.
longer term and more insidious?
You are not naive. You are not extreme in what you think. But this kind of war of ideas needs a time. To brainwash someone, it will not just one ceremony. You have to keep him listen to you for the longest time you want. So they work for the future. And that's why I said, I usually say, we as a Quranists, we are victimized today. But tomorrow, if you let it go, you will be, as American, victimized tomorrow.
Okay, that was the point I was getting at. Okay, talk to me a little bit about the lawsuit. You were working with the David Project, so give me a little bit about why you got involved in this story and what happened.
I devoted my life for this job, for reforming a Muslim and wage the war of ideas against the fanaticism, because I believe that my beloved religion is hijacking by those people. And it is very sad to me to listen to you or to anyone call them Islamist, because they are anti-Islam. But you call them Islamist, and they are not Islamist. They have nothing to do with Islam. They contradict Islam. Anyway, this is my life, and you voted in